Hey everyone, if you are someone who's juggling 1,000 ideas in your head and hundreds of to do lists, I want you to check out Requisor. We have built Requisor to turn messy ideas into structured plans with milestones and tasks, and also having AI agents that help you execute on them. So check out Requisor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Today's episode is with Angela. Angela is the founder of Honeybee Sage Café, and it's one of those episodes where I felt that I was speaking to a spiritual entrepreneur. She connects everything that she does with something bigger that's not just rooted in oneself. So that's something that struck to me in the conversation that I had with her. Now, the story of Honeybee Sage itself is amazing because we went in her origin story of how she began entrepreneurship and how one thing led to another. If you are someone who's interested in learning about how destination based, experience based businesses are curated, how brands are built, how wellness and alternative medicine, in a way, are and holistic medicine is being discussed, and how it kind of connects our different worlds, then this podcast is the one for you. It's also beneficial for people who are wanting to be entrepreneurs. So I highly recommend that you watch this till the end and take the immense learnings from a beautiful and a rich experience that Angela has been able to gather. So look forward to your thoughts and hope you take away a lot from this particular podcast. Thank you. Hi, Angela.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Thank you for having us in your beautiful space. We are so glad that all of us could come in and enjoy this beautiful, curated, amazing, spiritual,
I love
everything.
Yes.
Everything is beautiful in this space. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
How was your day so far?
Today's a good day. Today's a great day. This is my first real engagement. I mean, I've come into the store, into the space, and it's seldom now I get to come in here and not work, right? But that's part of the game, and so I'm with it. So I've got to engage with some customers and excited about this setup.
Yeah.
So it's been great. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'd love to know about Honeybee Sage, where we are
Yeah.
sitting here, where you have kindly
Yeah.
invited us, and we are having some amazing tea.
Yes.
So tell us more about why you started Honeybee Sage.
Yeah, Honeybee Sage was birthed out of so many different like personal inspirations. One, I love tea.
Yeah.
Two, I am a massage therapist by trade.
Okay.
And so after I finished massage school, I wanted to learn how to heal with herbs and nutrition. So more naturopathic modalities of healing. And so I actually finished massage school in 2011. Last graduating class of Lakeside School of Massage Therapy, which is just literally blocks from here. So it's beautiful to be in this neighborhood. So once I finished, started connecting with herbalists and different healers and learning from them. So by definition, I would be considered a self-taught herbalist because I don't have any certifications formally, but I've learned with so many different sages over the last decade or so or more. And as I was incorporating like the use of medicinal herbs and whatnot for my own health and healing, I started sharing with the community online a lot. And so even though I moved to Nashville to open my massage practice, after I started sharing online about things that I was using for myself, for my own personal wellness, people back home in Milwaukee's home for me, were always curious about where they could find these things. And I realized that when I was in Milwaukee and searching out natural healing for myself, there weren't any spaces that were curated within the city, like the inner city. And so for me, coming home to open Honeybee Sage was kind of filling a little bit of a void that I sensed here. Yeah.
So it's part of your personal journey in a way.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. I got into herbs because first of all, I was born in Milwaukee, but raised in Mississippi. So I was introduced to a lot of natural remedies and healing growing up. Was raised in Mississippi from 7 to 14. And so I knew that there were things outside of pharmaceuticals that could be used for healing. So many different experiences of watching my elders and, drinking castor oil syrup instead of cough syrup when I had a cold, those were things that were just common for us growing up in the country. And so I knew that there were alternatives to pharmaceuticals. So they were never my first line of defense as it relates to health. And so just exploring those things for myself and then being able to share them with other people, that's kind of how we landed here. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we have tea right here.
Yeah, we have some tea.
So tell us more about this, because this experience is like so unique.
Yeah. So,
You go ahead.
Yeah, we have, today you chose Strawberry Immunity. It is one of the teas that we don't prepare here in-house. But we work with a company who very, very mindfully, sustainably curates beautiful teas that we like to call novelty teas. So you just drink them just because you like tea.
Okay.
That you like the taste of it. So Strawberry Immunity is definitely something that's it has elderberry, so it's going to help boost your immune system. But all the other herbs in it, hibiscus, contribute as well. But it's an herbal tea. So you're going to get benefit, but you're also getting an amazing taste of the strawberry. So,
wow.
Yeah. Should I pour some up for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at the setup. It is so nice. I must admit, the first time I saw this, I'm like, this is like a tea ceremony happening here, right? Oh, thank you. You're so kind. This is the strawberry immunity, right?
Yeah.
So it's first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
So kind. Tell me more about this. The herbs and how it's connected to like immunity and the benefits of some of the teas and how it like affects your holistic health. I'd love to learn from you because it's something you do day in and day out.
Sure. Yeah. So we have over 30 medicinally blended teas that we have here in house. So if you ever come into the space, you'll notice you can take a gander across the room. You'll see our herb wall of 200 herbs or more herbs. Actually, we have I think we've exceeded 200 now that we use those herbs to blend medicinally intended teas. And so all of those teas do different things. So this particular blend has elderberry syrup and hibiscus. Both herbs are really known for helping to boost the immune system, helping you when you feel like you have a cold coming on or when you're trying to get over something. Yeah. But we have blends that help anything from menstrual cramps to men's vitality, helping to nurture like natural testosterone production. We have blends for that support fertility, support healthy blood pressure, healthy blood sugar. If you have a cold, we have a blend called Say It With Your Chest that kind of helps get that cough,
congestion,
and congestion moving out. So we have so many different blends that are really helpful for a number of different things, wellness remedies in the body. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
and I know this is the most favorite part that when I come in, I love this is the honey.
You got your honey.
So, and honey is in the name.
Yes.
So tell us more about the honey. Oh, look at this.
Yeah. So our honey, we work with a local beekeeper. He's actually out of West Bend. His name is Nick Thiel. He has Honey Grove Apiary. And so we get our honeys from him.
Okay.
And local honey is always good. The honey of itself is medicinal, especially when it's raw, and unfiltered. It still has all of the natural properties that are going to contribute to healing. So this particular honey that you're drinking, that you're enjoying, we make in house. We infuse it with cardamom.
Okay.
And so it's a really delicious,
Spicy,
honey.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna get the benefits from that as well. So Honeybee Sage, the name just means like honoring the wisdom of the honeybees, just because of how they dwell in community. We don't use the word colony for a number of different reasons, maybe obvious. So we say that the honeybee community, they're very mindful of how they work and how they build in community. Yeah.
Tell us more about that,
Yeah.
that community aspect of the honeybee and
Yeah.
how what you've seen in perhaps nature
Sure.
is connecting.
It's so well connected. So honeybees are matriarchal.
Yeah.
In a lot of indigenous cultures, you'll see that where the woman is honored just because of her role in the life cycle. She takes the seed of man and incubates it.
Yeah.
And gives all of her nutrients to help the benefit of the growth
Yes.
and maturity of the fetus. And so she's honored just for her role in that. So there's a queen. There's not necessarily a king, but the queen specifically is honored and reverenced just because of the role she plays in the life cycle. And then you have the worker bees. I know for me, if you come to our family cookout, you'll see all the women running around, making sure the babies are tended to, making sure the men are tended to, making sure the elders are tended to, and just preparing food and taking care of one another. And so the same in the hive. All the workers are female bees. They have stingers, and the male bees actually do not. And so that's interesting. But they do a lot of the work to make sure that the legacy continues. Primarily really just making sure that the queen is protected and that the babies are protected as well. And then you have the male bees that, they have one primary role, and that is to inseminate the queen. And after that, they die in eternal bliss. And
boy. Eternal bliss.
Eternal bliss, right? So I'm not saying that, of course, as human beings, you have a right brain and left brain. And so we have male, female, or masculine and feminine properties in each of us, no matter what our dominant presentation is. And so the male bees are integral because the queen cannot reproduce herself. She can't reproduce another queen without being inseminated. She can produce, and the workers can also produce unfertilized eggs that produce male bees. But in order to produce another queen, there has to be the dance, that occurs in the heavenlies. And I call it the heaven because the male bees usher the queen, way up. And they summons other male bees, drones from other colonies to come in and mate with their queen so they can keep their legacy going. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's so many different dynamics that are paralleled, but those are just a few. Yeah.
And was the knowledge of this and your observation, did that come first as a thought for this space and this brand?
That's a great question. Absolutely not.
Okay.
So it all of this was kind of like an unfolding as I really embraced and embodied the name. So I've always said that if I had children, which I don't have any biological children, that I would name them Sage. So male or female, Sage means one who is wise, right? A wise one. And so at the time that I rebranded myself, I was living in Nashville, and I had a friend who had offered a name for my business, Impressions Massage and Wellness, and it was typical. It didn't have any personality. It wasn't me. And so as I was thinking of rebranding, I knew I wanted to do something sage, right? My mom called me one morning, and she said that as she was praying for me, she heard the name Deborah. Deborah in the scriptures, in the Bible, was one of the only female prophetesses and judges in the Old Testament. And so as I was thinking of renaming myself, I was like, Deborah, what does it mean? I really love the significance and the meanings of names. And so I looked up the name Deborah, and it meant bee, B-E-E. So I was like, bee sage. not enough of a swing. It didn't really. I thought honeybee sage, honeybee sage. I love it, honeybee sage. And so after that, when I settled on that name, I actually watched a documentary on honeybees, and one of their nicknames were messengers of love because they pollinate plants, right? They take the male stamen, they take the parts from the male plant to the female plant so that we reproduce, right? The plants reproduce. And so at the time, I had adopted that love was my religion. And so at that point on social media, I said to myself, if I couldn't seal everything or sign everything that I said with love at the end, then that meant I shouldn't be saying it on social media. So it was just something that I had adopted for myself. And my first business actually was called Spread Love. That's a whole nother conversation. But kind of in that same arena, when I heard that they were called messengers of love, I actually knew that was like that was it. That was like that's what sealed the deal. What is funny though, is that my great grandmother, whose brother was an herbalist, he was a root doctor in Mississippi. Uncle Buddy was his name, but her name was Melissa, and Melissa means honeybee.
Okay.
And her nickname was Miss Love. No kidding. That was not part of her name. So to me, I feel like it was a full circle conversation that my grandma was having with me from the other side. And I wasn't aware, until years later, I put it all together. I was like, I was downloading some information from my ancestors, and so Honeybee Sage is really significant to me. The name, it has developed so much meaning for me over the years, and so I love it. Now it's it's a household name in the city that we live in. So I'm grateful for that.
And it's an experience too.
Yes,
absolutely. Not just the name, but the whole experience of just walking in this space.
Yeah.
All the aromas.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah.
There's something to going into a space that has the energy.
Yeah.
You can buy everything online these days, but there is an component to the mystique of an experience when you just walk in to a place, and this space definitely no kidding just has that.
Thank you.
And it's so integrated with your own brand as well. So I see those hexagons, right? From the beehive. When I see it, I go back to my nerdy brain goes back to like benzene, because the benzene ring is also a hexagon.
I love that.
But so how did the like aesthetic and everything kind of like come about?
So I knew that in this space, and even for myself, funny thing, I was dreaming of another grandmother who was I didn't get to meet Grandma Melissa, but my grandmother Angeline, I'm her namesake. Her name was Angeline Mallet, and there's several Angelas in the family, but I'm the only Angela Mallet. So I was dreaming her one day, and I woke up from the dream, and it was like, she is life in the color of yellow. And I just like, I was thinking of my grandmother. She was very joyful and bright spirited and whatnot. But then I thought about it. I was like, Honeybee Sage is their brand. And so that from that point, I started to incorporate just wearing a lot of yellow. But I was like, I want to add more color back to, my wardrobe. And so I decided that I would use things like my glasses and my jewelry, accessories, to kind of point to my brand, because it allows me to speak about my brand when I meet strangers, because they'll compliment the glasses automatically, and then from the glasses they'll notice the earrings, which were gifts from Community Honeybees, and my necklace was a gift, but they're kind of subtle, you know, hints towards it. And like, what's up with the bee theme? And then I get to talk about it, so it's beautiful. So in this space, I wanted the same thing. I wanted the aesthetic to speak of honeybees, that you were kind of just enveloped in it, versus you just saw it as like, we just threw up honeybees all over the place. So, cause it's not, it's for me, our honeybee relationship is not, the whole romanticized, you go in all of the markets and you see honeybees everywhere. Right. And, we didn't want it to have that cartoony feel. We wanted to be a really sacred, elevated experience of honeybees. And so I very thoughtfully curated the space to incorporate honeybees, the essence of honeybees throughout, without it being super cartoony, you know?
Yeah, I get that, and we see that in the space.
Yeah.
um, on like multiple levels.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like an integrated experience.
Yes. Yeah.
In that essence. So this is a great point to ask you, because I wanted to put the attention to the logo.
Yeah.
It's in multiple places. I sometimes see it
Yeah.
on your ring too.
Yeah.
And I see the bee, and then the bright yellow.
Yeah.
And just talk us through. You have it
I
as
have
your
it on
pin
my
too.
pin. So the Ankh. So when I was rebranding myself, a friend of mine, she kept bugging me about creating this logo. Give me insight to make a new logo for you. She's not even a graphic designer. She is a photographer who knew her way around Photoshop. So when I was thinking about what I wanted the logo to look like, very plainly, I wanted a silhouette of a black bee.
Okay.
And I wanted the ankh to be incorporated in the bead, like integrated into the bead. So that henceforth, the reason that the top of the ankh is black. So I wanted to appear that the ankh was not just on top of the bead, but a part of the
bee. Okay.
And so when we talk about the way bees, the unmatched wisdom in which they operate in community. When you look at the Ankh, it's the ancient Egyptian symbol. They call it the key of life.
Key of life. Okay.
And so the top part, is the embodiment of the feminine, the womb. And so that's the female principle. And then the cross is the fallopian tubes where the eggs and the sperm meet to make the baby. And so the elongated piece on the bottom would be the phallus, the male principle. So they come together to create life. And so, as I explained earlier, in how we love and really reverence the wisdom of the honeybees, that is the same thing that we find in human nature. We all are such key players in the life cycle. One cannot do without the other. To date, we don't know. I don't think it's been known that women have been able to create without men, and men can't create without women. And so each of us come from the relationship, the dance between man and woman, male and female, to create life, new life. And so that is that's what the logo speaks to. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of this was your vision that you kind of crafted.
Yeah.
In that entrepreneurial spirit and just an extension of yourself.
Yeah. So I actually feel like sometimes, I love the question that you asked, which came first, the vision or the egg, right? So was it the name that came first, or the understanding of the name? And the name came first, and then the downloads came about the beauty and the wisdom in the name. And so I love how I get to observe myself being used or a vessel for this vision to be birthed into the universe, because I don't always know the depths or the beauty of what I'm doing until later. I look back on it, I'm like, dang, that was pretty dope. Like, that was because I've had logos created before. For my first business, I think I told you, was Spread Love, and that was a t-shirt and accessory line, a mission-based t-shirt and accessory line. And for me it was always hard for me to communicate exactly what I wanted to see or what I wanted to feel. So it could be frustrating at times working with graphic designers, trying to get them to see what I was seeing or wanting to experience. But this was super simple. Again, this wasn't even a graphic designer who did this logo for me. It was a friend who knew her way around Photoshop. She pulled the black silhouette of the bee, put the ankh on there, and added the black top, the shading at the top, and that was it. Just the most easy and simplistic interaction I've had with a graphic designer ever. But I'm grateful for how the downloads come and it just all works together. Yeah.
Hey, y'all. quick break in the podcast to talk about Requisor. Requisor is a AI project assistant that we have built that takes messy ideas and turns them into action plans with milestones and tasks. We have AI agents that actually help on executing on all of those ideas and action plans as well. These agents can be quoting agents, social media agents, and many more that you can also connect your other apps to. So I want you to check out Requisor and how it can help you to take your ideas to execution. Thank you. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because a brand is also a combination of like the technical stuff, which is like the silhouette, the name, and stuff. But then there are the values and the values that you kind of put in action over a long period of time that kind of makes the brand. So we saw all of those elements, firing on all cylinders, if I may say so, with the brand itself.
Yeah.
So with that, I know you just mentioned about your previous venture also.
Sure.
So you've been entrepreneurial for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Could you expand on that? And also, we'd love to, the people who are watching would also love to know if they want to start something like this or just be entrepreneurial. What kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, okay. So
that was a lot.
It was, but it's great. Like, and I'm going to try to make it concise because I love talking about this. My first business was birthed out of my first layoff. Like I did some college, but I don't have an undergrad degree. Funny enough, in 2008, I was working at a school as a paraprofessional assistant teacher, and my teacher, my co-teacher at the time, we had both decided that teaching was probably not it for us in the system in which we were teaching. And so we, in her classroom on the third floor, I remember, we stood in that space and we had made a declaration that I had said in 5 years, I don't know if it was the year after that I made this particular declaration, but we had both stated that we wanted to be working for ourselves, right? And so I moved on from that particular job. She moved on that summer and moved into her business, and she's now self-employed entrepreneur. And it took me a little bit longer because I didn't necessarily know what direction I wanted to go in.
Okay.
Didn't necessarily have a craft or a skill that I really could pinpoint that I wanted to build upon. So, that was 2008 when we had that initial conversation. 2009, I had moved on from that teaching position to work in nonprofit, and that was the year of an economic downturn. And so, in working for a nonprofit, they were making some budget cuts, and my position was eliminated. And so that was the first time in my adult life that I'd ever been unemployed. And so I took that unemployment money, and from that, I started a company called Spread Love.
Spread Love.
Spread Love. So the name of the company was Sow in Love. So SOW in Love. So like sowing seeds in love.
Yeah.
But the brand itself that I was promoting was Spread Love. And it was a t-shirt and accessory line, mission based. I wanted to create philanthropic clothing line where some of the proceeds would allow me to help people as I see fit. Mother in a grocery store with a loaf of bread, pack of hot dogs, and some peanut butter. I kind of know what time it was, right? She has 3 children and she's paying with some change, right? I would be able to just buy a gift card for her. So that was my first business. I wanted to be able to do that and promote people who would embrace the brand to have that same kind of mentality, look for opportunities to engage in what I call inspired acts of kindness versus random acts of kindness. Like, so you could you'd see something and you wanted to act on. So it was my first business.
Inspired acts of kindness versus random acts of kindness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So not just, we see it all the time now where somebody in front of you at Starbucks will pay for your drink. But if you're in the Starbucks line, not to say take anything away from that, but if you're in the Starbucks line, 9 times out of 10, you budgeted or maybe not even budgeted, but you decided you were going to sacrifice this $5 or $10 for
Yeah.
your drink, right? So you had the money to do that. But if you see this woman in the store, I had the experience where I was in the gas station and the gentleman came in. I was living in Nashville, and he had $3.24 on pump 5, and I'm like, what is he driving? Like, is he getting a gas can worth of, and so I could tell that, he was using his last bucks to,
It's a
and
struggle.
so, yeah. And so I told the cashier to put an extra 20 on his tank. So those are things that I just did in my life, period. But I wanted to inspire that in other people. So, my entrepreneurship for me was birthed out of, being laid off and having had multiple positions in the past that I loved and I learned from, but I felt like there was more for me to do. There was an area of service. And that particular business was something that the young lady I told you, my friend, that we had that conversation. I'd actually been driving on my way to see her that day, and I saw a gentleman. And it wasn't even that I wanted to give to him money or anything, but I saw him standing there. He, by all, measures, if you looked at him, you might have thought he was some thug on the street, right? Sagging pants, hoodie, but he was holding a baby in his hand, and he had one by the hand, and he looked really nurturing. So I wanted to inspire. I wanted to promote that, celebrate that in that moment. And it was from that moment that I decided I wanted to develop this company, Spread Love, so we could just catch people doing good things and then promote that. But then I also wanted to take that a step further and be able to physically or financially give to people who I just felt inspired to give to. And so that was my start in entrepreneurship. Yeah, that was the business that I would say, and I said failed forward, but you called it something else when we were speaking the other day.
Yeah, I think that that's your MBA.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah?
yes, yeah.
Because you get so much experience, wealth of experience out of not necessarily failing, but just that journey. Correct?
Part of the journey. It was a learning curve.
And
Yeah.
all the things that you learned there would have paid rich dividends and stood in great stead for this venture.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've even come to be a part of this venture. So in the development of this logo, and I'll come back to the tips for the entrepreneurs, but in the development of this logo, I wanted to make sure that it was something kind of like the McDonald's logo, Nike, Ralph, Polo, Ralph Lauren. If you just looked at it from afar, you notice it, right? But in embodying it, yeah. So this is spread love in a sense, right? So if you're going to wear this on your lapel, then you have to show up in a way that honors the brand and what you feel when you walk in these doors. We've been named a healing cafe by our community. And so if you're going to represent the brand, then you have to be a healing space when you go out into the world. And so that's our call, when we, as we develop different merch and different apparel with this logo, because people ask us about it all the time. The idea is if you're wearing this, you gotta represent the brand. Because I have a business, in times where I might have been out in public and I might be peeved by some interaction, and I may want to drop my decorum to just act in a way emotional. I remember, I'm representing a whole brand. I'm a public figure, so that's something that I keep in mind. And so in that way, the brand Spread Love and what it represented kind of carried forward. But what I offer to entrepreneurs is to observe what sets your soul on fire. If you have the desire to become an entrepreneur, in determining which area or which vein you want to explore, pay attention to what fuels you when money is not involved. And I know, that's not a novel concept or, that's not new advice, but for really, truly, that is one thing that I would definitely suggest is to pay attention to what ignites you when you're not getting paid for it. And for me, it was part of my nature to want to uplift people, encourage people, add to people, just in my daily experience. And so that is what, contributed to the birth of Spread Love. And then moving forward, I was sharing information about herbs and wellness. I would have done massage for free if I could have, but I got to pay the bills. And so understanding that, I knew that I wanted to be able to do something that was promoting a cause. Actually, massage, when I was working, the job that I had after that laid off position, because, most entrepreneurs think that first strike out, that first leap is going to land you into something that retires you. And it just may. There are some people who have that testimony. For others, a lot of us have had multiple experiences where, it was the learning, it was part of the credits for the future experience. But when you're in the process where you're getting those skills and learning about what you want to do next, you're always building towards your future. And so when I was in the next job that after that nonprofit where I was laid off, I was helping people I was a scheduler at a internal medicine clinic, and people were coming for pain pills, and they weren't getting better, and their diagnosis was chronic pain, and I was in, and to me that felt just wrong. Like, you're in chronic pain for what reason? Like, for the rest of your life, if they can't identify where the pain is coming from,
Root cause.
root cause, right? Your diagnosis is chronic pain, and the answer is opiates. And I had a gentleman, I'll never forget his face. He was standing there and he was talking about how he was addicted to this pain medication, and then he had to take medication to fight the addiction, and he was just in this crazy loop. And from that, I was inspired to pursue massage therapy school.
Wow.
It had been on my radar since high school, because my aunt lived around the corner from the school, and I always saw the sign and thought, oh, this would be pretty cool. But it came back, when I was working that position. And so finding opportunities to serve your community, sometimes that starts with you. Meeting your own need and understanding that it's a need that you can help meet with other people. Like, what would you do if money wasn't an issue, and how can you identify needs, whether that's within yourself or in your community, that you can meet with a very niche perspective, right? Something unique to you, because of how that became important to you. Sometimes people start businesses because, their daughter has eczema, and they want to make sure that they create body products that nourish her skin and don't break her out, So being mindful of that. And when you find ways to serve, I think the universe just kind of gets behind you on that. It promotes our godlikeness to come into humanity and be able to serve the good of humanity. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was deep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
It makes me think.
Yeah.
It makes me think. I loved how you put it in the context of something that's not just self-serving, but how it connects to like others as well.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
I listened to a lot of old wise heads, Neville Goddard, Earl Nightingale, Neville Goddard, and Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich, model. Napoleon Hill wrote so many classic texts, and I think it's just one of the things that I find as a rule, like a standard, out of all of their talks and presentations, are that service model. When you are acting in service, I think just because the universe is supportive of the well-being of mankind by, the sun is hanging in the sky, and the perfect proximity to the earth so we don't burn,
Yeah.
but it keeps us warm enough so we don't freeze, right? All of these things are happening to keep us here and alive. So in my mind, even no matter how much pain, we experience as humans, the fact is, we woke up this morning. Our circadian rhythm, matched well enough with the sun and the moon and all the things to wake us up. And so as long as we're living, I think there's gratitude that can be expressed and acknowledgement, I think, that can be made that the universe is supportive of life, right? And so I think when we are supportive of life, the well-being of life on the planet, I just think the universe has no option, really. It's just the nature, it's the law that it gets behind you and supports you in your service to mankind. So to me, that's a huge part of it. And then understanding that it's your responsibility to identify the what you want to do, and the why, but the how, let go of that, because there's so many different points that I came to in my business where if I had focused on the how, I would never would have done it, right? Even coming into this space, there was subfloors, meaning that there was no flooring laid. There were white walls with primer paint, and that was it, right? And so in my mind, I had made the build out of this space much more simplistic than it actually was, right? Because I think if I had known how difficult it would be and how many hurdles we would run into, it may have slowed me down. It may have discouraged me. But just because I had this crazy, this level of ignorance, if you will, but and I don't even want to call it ignorance, more so innocence. I just I thought it would be easy, so I made the commitments, right? Easier. I shouldn't say I thought it would be easy. I thought it would be easier, so I made the commitments. And by the time I realized how much it would take, it was too late to turn back, right? So I was in it. And so I think, the support that I found that from God and the universe, whatever you'd like to call it, is what carried me through those tough times. Not really focusing on how I would get it done, but knowing what and why. I knew that in this space I wanted to be of service. And I wanted to be in an elevated space where people came and had an elevated experience and they felt special in this space. So I knew that would go into every little bit of detail. And I didn't have to focus on how I would get it done so much.
Yeah, I love what you said there, because I think even Jeff Bezos from Amazon, he had this quote once saying that be adamant on your vision, but flexible on the details. So I could resonate through your story about this is how it looks in execution. Angela, this has been a great conversation. I so appreciate that you shared candidly your insights and stuff. We'll have to do this one more time.
I look forward to it.
But thank you so much. Just how the thing that struck me the most was how you connect spirituality and into everyday actions and through your business and through your actions. We hope to continue that you serve the community in full measure, God and the universe gives back to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And with this beautiful tea and everything. So I really want to appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And your energy also. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day ahead, and we'll have to have more of this tea.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.